What's up, everybody? It's your favorite mini tapes, favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Hot Soldiers Collector's Edition Intelligence Officer soundtrack. There's an awful busy amount of information on this box, so I'm not exactly sure, but I think this is soundtrack and Laserbeak is Laserbird. And now I can stop calling it by that name. So this is a Legends class Soundwave and Laserbeak on loan to me from Robert D, who is a dear friend. So I'm going to go through these relatively quickly. But I just want to give you a glimpse into the mind of this madman. One time he texted me and asked me a question, and I answered the question and said, "No doubt." And then he sent a picture of No Doubt, the band, with my face with a Gorira helmet photoshopped onto it, photoshopped on top of a chimpanzee. One time he asked me if I liked something. I told him that I thought it was good. He didn't think that was high enough praise, said my heart was so cold, and photoshopped me on top of Mr. Freeze. And then he also sent me a picture of Mike Tyson's face photoshopped onto Han Solo, which of course says Han Tholo. Mike, if you come looking for me, it wasn't me, it was Robert. I don't want any problems. And he comes with a number of accessories, but as you can see, they all integrate just fine onto the bot. And now we can take a look at them. So he comes with a fair amount of accessories. He comes with this shoulder mounted sort of weapon, which has the port to stick onto, and then this, which we'll get back to, the nice red painted stripe around it. We'll set that to the side. And then we have this, which is his gun, so he can hold this like this, or you can take it off and you can actually stick this around and plug it in this way, and we'll show the importance of that later as well. And then he comes with two of those. I'm not sure why, because this one doesn't really plug into here in any way, shape, or form. So I'm not entirely sure on that. And then he comes with the translucent piece as well, unless that's supposed to kind of look like he's firing it. I'm not sure why either. And then he comes with two tapes. They're the same mold. One is translucent blue that you can put in his chest, and it kind of just gives like almost the illusion of no tape at all. They both transform the same way. This one has a lot more detailing, as you can see. Black plastic with red paint inside the wings. Silver paint on the weapons, and then black paint underneath for the feet, which don't actually move. Now the head is a bit of a pain to get out. I used a pair of needle nose pliers, and I just sort of gently maneuvered it to get it started, and then moved the head around. No paint on the head, which is a bit of a bummer. You know, I understand that it's difficult and it's very small, but without eyes, it does take away an awful lot. Like there's no real personality to it. But other than that, it works just fine. And of course, the tapes can go into his chest by just opening this piece up here, inserting the tape, and then closing this. No fuss, no muss. Now let's talk about the figure. So there's a lot of paint here, which you know, of course, I welcome. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's get intimate with this fella, because he is pretty cool. So we have silver paint on the face and then red paint on the visor, and then the head itself is on a ball peg, and it gets up to there, down to there, and a swivel. Decent range. For the chest, we have silver paint here on his eject button. We have yellow paint on this piece, and even though it doesn't properly eject, I'm okay with it. We do have some paint that got from here onto the chest, but once it's closed up, you'll never notice. There is a little bit of spillover there. That's an individual. Results will vary. Then we have yellow paint on top of the blue. Yellow's a hard paint to do over top of colors, especially dark colors, but this one does it fair. Not perfect, but fair. We have a reverse butterfly joint for the arms. I'm not sure if that's really intended for articulation, but you can use it because you can make your own decisions. And then it has a ball peg for the shoulders, so you can get out to here, 90 degrees, and then the swivel. No bicep swivel, but you know, like, I don't know. For Legends figures, I'd much rather see an ankle rocker, which this doesn't have either, than a bicep swivel. I feel like a bicep swivel, you can get around it, especially in a smaller figure where it's not as obvious. And then for the forearms, you have nothing. You have an elbow that gets you 90 degrees, and you have a wrist that's on a hinge, so you can get down a little bit, and of course the swivel, because it's not on a hinge, rather it's on a ball peg. Same for the other side. No paint detailings in the shoulder, which is a bummer, but you have a nice red paint stripe around the forearm. And they went with the white look instead of the silver, like the Masterpiece did. That's been a topic of conversation recently. So they went with the more cartoon look. No waist swivel either, and then we have T-jointed ball joints for hips that get you the full Van Damme and the full Monty. No thigh swivel, but you get it just above the knee, so basically it counts. And then the knee is on a single hinge, which gets you just shy of 90 degrees, where we have nice paints, silvers here and here, yellows, even on the vents, and then yellow there, and it all kind of works. And then for the feet, it's a gunmetal paint, and you have just basically a toe tilt, no rocker. And then the back cleans up fairly well. So all in all, a pretty decent figure, but if it just had a little bit more, I might put it in the perfect for Legends kind of category. But as it is, I still give it very good for Legends in terms of its function as an action figure. Size comparison wise, there he is with the Iron Factory Soundwave, which kind of abides by their own scale, and then the Hasbro Power Glide, which kind of works. You know, Power Glide probably would be a little smaller, but it still kind of works. And just to compare it to the Iron Factory one real quick in terms of articulation, it's a ball peg with the ball joint going down inside the torso. This piece still does open up. And then you have ball peg shoulders, which get you out to there, which isn't the best, and then swivel. And then you have a ball peg elbow that gets you 90 degrees, and nothing for the wrist. Nothing, once again, for the waist. You do get a backwards ab crunch that you would never probably use. You get T-jointed ball joints that don't get you very far for hips, but they do get you front and back. You get a thigh swivel. You get a knee. You get an ankle tilt, and you get tons of paint. I'm not sure. I think that he sent this to me thinking that I would like this or think that this was done much better, and I'm not sure that I necessarily agree with that. I like the sculpt of this. I think it's really cool. I like the stylized stuff that Iron Factory does, and I like how especially how they look together, but like I find this guy to be relatively obnoxious. I think the way that he I don't know. He's just cumbersome a little bit, you know, for being such a small figure. You wouldn't expect it. He does come with, I'll show you these because these are worth talking about. He does come with these two shields. They could be shields, and on, you know, like you can, I don't know. The Iron Factory does this stuff where they have all this kind of inclusiveness. I don't know if you can attach this to his arm or so he can hold the shield by bringing down that peg and then plugging it into his hand. I'm not sure why that took me so long to figure out. Not my brightest moment nor shining moment, but you know what? I'm past it. I don't think we need to bring it up again, but that's how it is. There's all sorts of stuff that they always have where you can plug in different things. They transform pretty cool. You bring the feet down and spin them, I believe. And then bring the bird head out, spin the bird head on the ball peg, unclip the wings, and then bring them around. Now, obviously, this looks, you know, ridiculously big next to Soundwave, but it is still a pretty cool little creature, you know, and allows you to do an awful lot with them, and I definitely dig that. And then there's the Ravage, which I've already looked at. It's the steel jaw mold, so we've seen that before. Let's get back to it. I just thought it was worth taking a look at that real quick while we had it. All right, so let's get him transformed. Turn the head 180, tuck it in. Move the shoulders around on the butterfly joint, and then take the hands around and make it grab onto its backside, so to speak. That's basically what you're doing there. Tuck the feet in. Utilize the ball peg so the openness of the ball peg is facing up. Turn at the thigh, at the upper knee, plug in, and then this white clip will clip into the side blue piece here. Easy for me to say. There. And then same for this side, ball peg up, rotate the knee, and then voila. Now, there's one more thing that you can do, and that is take the accessories. Yikes. Take this piece, plug it into there, and then you can take this and plug this in. I don't know which direction it has to go. Let's just try. Like that. And then you can take the other one and plug it in like that. And then that stores it. And this is pretty cool. It's the transformation reminds you of the G1. It gives you some nostalgic feelings, and it looks the part. It does a pretty good job. I will say that the more I've looked at it, I have noticed more paint sloppiness. I'll try to point those out in final thoughts, but I think they've really given this a good go. I definitely appreciate the effort. So yeah, there it is, and it looks pretty cool. Final thoughts wise, he's a cool little guy. I like all the accessories. I like the options that the accessories present. I think the sculpt is great. I think that the articulation is okay. The transformation is fun. It's very G1 reminiscent. It gives you some nostalgic feelings. But I had to talk to you about the negatives before I get out of here, because I have noticed a few more. Like there's paint, silver paint that got slopped on over there. I mean, slopped on might be a bit of a stretch, but it got outside the lines for sure. The feet, where they hinge, it's a very tight joint. It's a little problematic to move. There are accessories and different interchangeability ideas and like sort of allotments for those accessories, but they're not all inclusive at any one given time, which just seems strange with the options that they give you. And it should have had an ankle rocker and a waist swivel, especially a waist swivel. There's no reason for this thing not to have a waist swivel. But outside of that, yeah, really fun figure, really cool, very G1 reminiscent, fun to mess with. I definitely recommend it if you're a Soundwave fan or a Legends fan, or can think of any real excuse to get him. He's pretty cool, and I can see, he's easy to kind of mess with, and I can see that, one could be kind of inspired for hours to kind of just sit there and pose him and muck about with him. So I do recommend him ultimately, but he's not without issue. Hope that helps. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Till next time, take care.